Hello, everybody.
Hey, Scott.
Hey, Scott.
Hey, sorry I couldn't make it out in time.
I'm just glad that Steve Bader was able to get our link back up and running because we were going to be dead in the water.
Yep.
Hey, Lexi.
Yep, it's not working, but that's okay.
Just so nobody thinks I'm rude, I'll have to step out early today because I gotta go to the high school for my daughters are performing at the halftime show.
How dare you?
Fantastic. You definitely have to step up for that. Yes.
Their
job.
ire is stronger than yours.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna leave and come back in.
I think Jill was planning to join us via Zoom.
Yeah, she said that in email, but I haven't seen her join yet.
Yeah. Yep, I'm texting her. She's looking for the link. I'll tell her to check.
Tell her to check her email because the new link
Yep.
was emailed out.
So if we get Jill on, I think we have a quorum and we could actually conduct business, right? 5 of the 9 official members.
I still can't get it. Must have burned it out today. I was on about 4 different Zooms.
She's jumping in now, she says.
Aaron, you good? I gotta run down to my office. Yep. All right, I will be right back. I forgot Dale Curtis emailed something and I printed it off and
Sloan, do you have a lot of sick people at school?
It's not as bad this week, but it was pretty bad last week. Yeah, a lot of people gone.
I had a cancellation of a doctor's appointment 4 times. The reason, they didn't want me to come in because I might catch something from the doctor's office. Because they were treating people with flu and colds and every other germ. So it's the
Yep.
first time that ever happened, but kind of weird. Don't go to
My
the
first day
doctor.
out of the house was about maybe 3-4 days ago. My wife caught COVID, And so I had to stay in, and after she got healed, I caught COVID. So, and I still haven't I lost my taste of food.
Hi, Jill.
Hey there. It's a
Right.
quiet conference room today.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Right. I'm just gonna pop over to my email really quick and make sure that there's not someone trying to reach us. Let's see. No, last thing I got is the Zoom link. All right, well, we're at 6:35. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. I can get a roll call. Let's have the online people go first. So Lexi O'Brien here.
Joe Magruder here.
Emerson Smith here.
Scott Gresh here.
Sloan Carfield here.
Hey, people in the conference room.
John Sauter here.
Barb Strang here.
All right. And Captain Perks leading us at the computer. All right. Okay, well, welcome to our first meeting of 2024. I hope you had a good break, and if you did catch bugs, that you're over them now. I know we lucked out in my family. No one was sick at the holidays. Everyone started getting it afterwards. So I'm still the last one in my family to get this cold. We have not a whole lot of past business to go through. We'll look at minutes for November after this meeting and vote on them in February. We do have a few items though or a couple items to look at that we're proposing to put on the website. And so we can skip review and approval of minutes. Let's see. So number 4, updates on the search for the new chief of police. Captain Perks, can you give us an update on that timeline and the survey that went out, if that is still open for community members? And
Yeah, I cannot give you an update on the timeline. I do not have an update on the
Okay.
timeline. Last I checked today, the survey is still open. But as far as the timeline on the application process or what that process looks like, I do not have an update for that. Best would be to see Dr. Peoples for that information, or
Yep.
maybe councilperson Ms. Smith might have an update on that, but I do not.
okay. Emerson, do you have any insight into it? I know Dr. Peoples shared with me. I didn't know if there were any milestones to report.
No, all I know is the link is still out there. So we are encouraging everybody to go out there and complete the survey.
Awesome. I have not heard from the person who's directing the search from the agency that's been hired to conduct it. I wasn't able to meet up with him in person. He was just here for a short period of time. But I did email him and I hope to hear back.
What
So-
is the name of the company that's doing the search?
Let's see. I have all that in my inbox. Let me search for Dr. Peoples. Let's see. right, here we go. Let's see, the, SGR is the agency. And the recruiter is named Charles Kimball. He has more than 32 years of experience in law enforcement. Provided a link, and I can share this with the rest of you. So I'll grab it and share it out after this. So he was on site December 18th and 19th. And he met with some key stakeholders in the police department in the city. It's still in the very beginning stages. And I guess I don't have the full schedule beyond that. So I'm still hoping that I'll have a chance to talk to him. And if that gets lined up, I would really like to represent the views of all of us. And I was told we can't have multiple members because then it raises issues about sunshine and too many members, then it has to become a matter of public record and posting it and everything. So
I can tell you as of today, we only had 61 responses to the survey.
so we need to boost that survey.
Thanks, Kim.
I wonder, has that we could try putting it in, that could be an idea for a social media post. Do we know how much longer it'll stay open, or are they keeping it open and hoping in hopes of getting more responses?
I'm trying to find that date. On each update, I see it has no date, that it's just out there. I went back to the 12th of January.
So maybe what we could do is put together a social media post pretty quickly, get it shared out. And then if those of us that are on Facebook or one of the other channels, I think we would be able to then in turn share that post, to our own network of, if you have a lot of friends locally that would like to fill that out. Are they looking for any particular, I guess if there's only 61, they just want any responses.
Right. I believe they did a special survey for all of the police officers. Is that right, Chief?
Yeah, yes, they did. There was a survey done internally, and this survey here is an external survey.
What's the difference? Questions? Do you know?
The internal one was, they were asking employees of what they wanted from the police chief, and then this one here is an external survey from citizens, asking what citizenry wants. So that,
Hopefully those would be the same or similar, but. Do you, Lexi, have any idea how much we're paying this agency to do this search?
No. I know that I can see where it would be the kind of search that they would want to get some assistance and reach out beyond, just our local area. So at any rate, that's what we know. So maybe Sloan, let's mark down to try and do a social post on that. And everybody go look for that if you have not responded to it yourself. Where is the link, Captain Perks? Is it just on the homepage of the city site?
yes.
All right. Very good. Yeah, that's pretty prominent. So right there on the homepage. Let's see. we next have some FAQs that Jill has been working on with some input from Captain Perk. I hope that y'all have had a chance to read through that. Captain Perks, is it, do you have that Word document? Can you show that on your screen?
Which Word document? I wasn't prepared to show anything
Oh.
tonight.
It was the FAQs. Hold on, I'll see if I can, I thought I had them pulled up. That's agenda. Crime prevention. Jill, do you have them handy? I know I
Yeah, it was in
got
the
it.
email.
See which.
Yeah, it would have been in the email, I think on the 17th.
I don't have it at the ready, Lexi, since I'm on a different computer, but I can probably get it pretty quick.
Yeah, I'm seeing if I can grab it too. Let's see. Here we go. I got it now. I just want to try and make it bigger so that people will be able to see it.
That's right.
Going ahead and share my screen. All right. Can everybody see them?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Let me see how much bigger they'll get. Is that pretty good? Can you read them? Is it legible?
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right. All right. So, this would be kind of hard to like, if you haven't glanced at them before. But let's do a quick read through. And if you have any comments, does anybody want them read aloud or can you read silently just as easily?
Silently.
Good. I'm going to scroll. Right. A little more. You ready to scroll?
Yep.
That's the end of it. I had one comment and it's really more of a question maybe. Under number 11, how does the police department engage with local schools? And we mentioned the active shooter training. Do we want to mention though that you have an MOU in place in order to have school resource officers assigned to specific schools? Should we maybe add that? What do you think, Captain Perks?
It wouldn't hurt to mention it. I mean, we do have that. That's only for our public schools, doesn't include any of our parochial or private schools.
Yeah, so we would need to stipulate that for the Webster Groves Public Schools. And we have, is it 2 or 3 officers?
2.
Right,
Yeah, I can certainly add that.
okay. It would make it harder to keep up with it, but would there be like privacy concerns if we actually listed who those school resource officers are?
Is that already out there publicly on the police department's website? Might be. I could check that.
It's out there. Yeah, that's not a concern.
If you link to it, you don't have to update it.
Yeah, that would be, yeah. that
Yeah.
would be better.
I mean, we'll have to update with like the retire, with Chief Curtis's replacement and all that. So, but I did try to keep things relatively static.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You did a great job. You can tell you put a lot of work into it.
Yes.
Thank you.
The
I-
other question, there's a special certification that the Webster Groves Police Department has that's like sort of above and beyond. I remember there being
Oh, yeah.
Are you talking about our accreditation?
yes, Olea, yeah, the
Yeah,
accreditation,
CALIA accreditation.
yeah. Do
Yeah,
we-
I could add something that could maybe be a standalone question and
Yeah, I
answer.
think so.
Mhm.
I think that's pretty impressive that that we've invested in getting accredited. All the extra training that entails and the documentation, which I'm sure is somebody's job to keep all that record. Any other comments from people? I'll
Yeah,
scroll.
go ahead.
Does your link go back to the PCB page or go to the PD page?
Which one is this?
So that one is the PCB webpage where we've started adding, like we've got that preparing for active shooter PowerPoint there. And then I don't know if we've got other links. But yeah, this goes straight there.
So
If you
it
scroll-
goes to the PCB page on the city's webpage, which then people can link to the police page, which is on our city page.
Yeah.
Okay. Which then has the police department's accreditation and all that stuff right there, which is CALIA and all of that.
Yeah,
You're kind of doing redundant work because all of it's, if you have links that are right there, that then links you right to the city's page that has all of our policies and all of our accreditation and everything about Kaleo on there. You're kind of, Jill, you're adding work to yourself by having all of that linked right there.
Yeah,
It's kind of
yeah.
redundant.
Yeah. I do agree. It's just, there's a lot on the, are you all seeing the police department page?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Right
it linked
there.
right, yeah,
Yeah.
that's saying it linked right to our page, which has all of this information on it.
We certainly can, and we can look for good places to do that. Being a web person, I love all the information that's here. In some ways, it's almost like so much information in that left rail that something that you wanted to emphasize might not pop out. And so we're just framing it in the way of an FAQ so that we can talk about, what makes Webster Groves Police Department, have these high professional standards, and one of them is that. So
Yeah,
I do get what you're saying. I don't want to replicate the police department website in any way. And at one point we had even talked about,
Mhm.
for some of these, I really think there are some questions that belong under PCEB, but maybe there are some of these that belong under the police department. So this is probably a good
Yeah,
conversation to
that's
have.
true. Yeah,
The other thing I'd say is make sure when you're reading through the frequently asked questions, anytime it says we, it refers to the PCEB, because there's sometimes in there where it's taken from the police department website and it's saying we in reference to the police department.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good call out. That's a lawyer call out. Thank you.
On your list, Lexi, number 2, what can the PCEB not do? There's a little redundancy with
There
with
we go.
number
There it is.
3, number 4. 3-4. So go up to number 2,
Okay.
right there. What can the PCEB not do? And it says, you can't talk about the personnel. But then if you go down to question 3, number 4, it says, but if you have a question about the personnel, go to the police chief. I
Yeah.
think that needs clarification.
From my perspective, the redundancy was intentional. It's like really hammer it home that we do not deal with personnel issues. Do you think we need to?
I agree with the redundancy too, because I think this has been a recurring theme through the whole 6 years I've been here, and though it seems redundant to say it, it seems like we've revisited it again and again. I think having it there several times, that's a public concern, and putting it out multiple times makes sense to me.
Yeah, this number 3 was what have we already seen come through the feedback form? That's kind of where this 3.1 came from. And just, trying to redirect people to the right place if it's not a PCB. But then with number 2, also just kind of stating up front, what we do.
I think it's a brilliant job, you guys, because again, the whole time I've been here, 6 years, I think you've summarized a huge percentage of everything we've talked about.
Credit goes to Jill for that.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
great
you.
job.
I am someone who likes doing FAQs, so anyone need FAQs, send them my way.
So we could maybe add something about, Jill, I don't know how to frame it. I was impressed by the CALEA accreditation.
Yeah.
I read through their website and all that it entailed. And
Yeah.
I think it should be a point of pride for the community.
Yeah, maybe it's something
Police
like,
department
how
does.
does our police department go above and beyond? Something to that effect. I
Yes,
can think
exactly.
of the framing there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be.
We
Mhm.
can brag on them a little bit. All right. So, can we go ahead? We've got a quorum. Can we go ahead and vote on putting these up on to the website pending the addition of a reference to the MOU with public schools to provide school resource officers and the addition of a reference to the CALIA accreditation? Did I remember?
I
them
move
both?
to approve. I move to approve.
Great.
Scott,
Scott moves to approve. Lexi seconds it. Should we take a
any
vote?
discussion? Yeah,
Let's go around then. I guess we have to do it verbally. Aye, says Lexi.
aye. Scott,
Oh,
I'm not allowed to vote, right?
Yeah, you're not a voting.
Okay,
member.
okay. I would vote yes, but I can't.
I have a question before I give a yay or a nay.
Sure,
Um,
Barb.
You know, in that, in that number 3, where you wanna share a concern and you don't know where to go, and then there's these, how many, 5, 6, 7 concerns.
Uh-huh.
There's one concern that I keep hearing on the streets that is not mentioned because it's a difficult issue. I don't know if it should be listed here or if it should be listed elsewhere, or if we're just not gonna list it. And that is the big topic kind of in the world or the country today, I shouldn't say the world, in our country today is trafficking children. And children being lost, being found, you know, and I asked the question and I did get a wonderful answer from the police department telling me why it's hard to get this information, but this is the best we can do. And I will tell you just in general, over the last 3 years, the number of lost children has more than doubled. Now, that's kind of consistent with what's going on in the country. And I know it's a hot topic and there's lots of sides and lots of opinions. And maybe it would be better not to list it here. But every time I see a list like this, I want to say, okay, is this all inclusive? Is this it? Or is this just an example of some of the most commonly questioned activities? And if you want information, here's where to go get it. You know, is it all inclusive? If it is, then I think my issue might need to be put somehow in there. But if not, if we can just make sure these are the common areas of concerns by our citizens. And here's where you go to get information. Sorry, I was repeating myself. That's the teacher in me.
Yeah,
Does that make
curious what others
sense?
think, but I feel like that criminal activity number 3.2 kind of covers that as a broad bucket, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think this is all inclusive. And this maybe my years of working with lawyers, like we could specify that it's not all inclusive. I don't think we ever would get to a point where every single thing is listed here.
Sure.
So we could do that. We could be more clear about that.
Yeah, when you start drilling down to topics like that, it's the questions, where do you stop, right?
Right.
Because that is one. I mean, you could talk. I mean, I don't even want to bring up the
Yeah.
all the other potential ones. Whereas, and it's a national issue, right? That you can drill down to on a specific level. But I think you're right, Jill. I think that's covered under criminal in the sense that that's the general category as for specific questions.
So maybe Jill, just that, in number, where it says number 3, I would like to share feedback or a concern, who's the best contact? And just somewhere in there to say, these are the most common buckets that are needing a contact or something, like you can say it much more eloquently.
Yeah. Yep, I can add something there to specify that. Yep,
That'd be probably the easy way out.
agreed.
Yeah, good point.
I would recommend Jill putting something that's in there, criminal activity or general information. Because if you go down the rabbit hole of trying to list criminal activity or specific crimes, your list is going to be you can't narrow that down. If you start talking about
No.
trafficking, then you're gonna get stealing, robbery, assaults. Your list is just gonna keep going and going and going and going and going on under the criminal code.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
it'll just be too long. So make it like criminal activity or
And
general information.
yep, I will make that update, and especially with all of that going to the same place, back to you guys at the department.
And reality is because the general information, that's the number they would call.
Yeah.
If it's not an emergency, it's 911. Or if it's an emergency, it's 911. And any non-emergency, it's that number. And that's the two numbers. And so all of those other numbers come into that, and then we go from there.
Yep. Okay, sounds good.
Barb, do you want to register a vote now?
Sure, I think I can. I agree.
Okay. Thank you. I think that was a good addition, and yay, we've been wanting to do this for a long time. We've
All right.
decided.
Yeah, I'll get those
Shall be.
updates over. We can share the final two with the next, round of emails, agenda.
Yay. I'm sorry, I didn't say anything.
No, neither did Jill.
I'm a yay.
I can't tell who that is. Is that John?
John, yay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We got Barb. Yeah, I think that's everybody then that's permitted to vote.
Jill, I know you wrote it, but I'm
Yeah.
assuming you're voting yay.
Aye.
Okay.
All right. Okay, then
Anybody
the
join?
next thing on our agenda is we have this this crime prevention presentation that Captain Perks delivered to us. I guess it was a couple meetings ago. And I don't know, are there particular pages where there were some revisions that we did or some addition?
We swapped out the 2022 data for 2023. So this slide here, yeah.
Okay,
And then other than that, nothing significant other than adding like a link to where you could sign up to get news alert, like crime alerts, things like that to clarify where people could go to get more info. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, we just updated the website, the link, a phone number, and the 2023 statistics.
perfect. So we haven't really had substantial changes to this. I think many of us were at that meeting. Do we need to slowly scroll through, or are we prepared to take a vote on that? I don't know if you had an opportunity to open it from your email.
What are you voting on, Lexi?
We are voting on whether this presentation could be posted as a link either on our website or on the police website. And we can talk about, how
That
much
needs
we
to
want
have
to
a vote.
operate on ours.
Yeah, I think it's a great presentation, and I move to approve that it is posted.
Yeah, you can post it on your website. It doesn't need to be posted on ours, but you can just put a link on your website. That's fine.
Okay,
Well, because it goes to the community. I mean, these are police telling community how to be safe, how to be secure, and all these. So it would make sense that it would go on the PCEB. If I wanted this information, I probably wouldn't go to the police website if I knew there was a community website
Yeah.
about policing.
okay. I guess we need a second then as to whether we want to
I
put it on
can, I
there.
can second Scott's motion, move, whatever the right term is. I second.
Motion, yeah. No worries.
As we stumble through the logistics. All right, well then let's go around and actually I had one thought and I want to ask whether it's too much to pile in here. But in the last city newsletter, there
Mhm.
was a section about signing up if you do have security cameras. To sign up so that the police department is aware. So if there is a case of criminal activity in your area that your camera might have picked up, that could be used as evidence, to apprehend someone. That you can sign up. And the way it was positioned, I was like, okay, that doesn't feel like it's intruding into my privacy. It felt more, like a community service kind of thing. And so I wondered, because this one slide here talks about, prevention tips, get a security system. But do we want to reference that somewhere in this, that it's something you can sign up to do?
If you scroll down a little bit to the one with the weekly crime tips, what's got a picture of Detective Paul Boudreaux in there somewhere? Where is that one at?
Bottom.
Toward the end.
Yeah, towards the end, I believe.
This is a
Maybe.
long deck.
Yeah, I think this
Very-
one.
Right there.
Very pithy.
Get neighborhood crime alerts. Maybe we could put a link right there with, electronic incidents and then, the sign up for, maybe you can add it there. Jill, that might just, and it would be
Yeah.
really easy to add that because you can just get the link from our webpage.
Yep.
So before you post that on your webpage, just add that link for the, community camera. Forget what it's called, but community camera program. Community camera program, I think that's what it's called.
And it's on the police department's
And it's,
website.
it's on the police department webpage.
Let
Is
me,
it-
Yeah,
also,
I can do that.
it came up in the city, where is it? The Friday.
This was a Friday page, maybe, yeah, because we just put it out,
There
yep,
it is,
community camera program.
Community camera program. So, this is what we would be,
We should definitely have something about this on our webpage.
Yes,
yeah,
we've had it for a couple of years.
I would worry about burying it in that deck, though.
yeah, I think,
Yeah,
could we actually, I know we wanna kind of keep a limit on how much we put in that left rail, but this seems like something that could rise to that level, to say, sign up for a community camera program.
I think there, or it could be a standalone link under that additional resources.
Yes,
And we could add it somehow as an FAQ, as another place that you could stumble upon it.
so additional resources down here.
Or additional materials, sorry.
Very
Where-
bottom,
Oh,
very bottom.
oh, right here. Yes, that would be a great place.
Mhm. Yeah,
And is that where we would also put the crime
The stat.
prevention tips is under here?
yep, that's where I was thinking at least.
Okay,
I
I know that Jen Starkey was kind of helping us organize too, so, all right.
Yeah, I think I had like a sentence introduction here to tee this up a little bit in terms of, things that were discussed at PCB meetings or resources,
All right,
something to that effect. Yeah, to give this a little bit more context for the viewer.
all right,
I gotta go.
all right. Can we vote really quick?
Yeah,
All right, let's vote. Say A.
hey.
John Sauter voting
Hey,
A.
can I vote? Hey.
Lexi
Can't
says
vote.
A.
See ya.
I
All right,
Scott-
thanks, John.
Scott says aye, yeah.
Jill said I.
Jill, Lexi. All right. Well, thank you all. I think we're approved on that. And I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm gonna go back to my agenda. There we go. All right. We don't have any community feedback from the online form.
It's been real quiet.
Yeah, it's been quiet. I think, people are just not aware of it. We've
Yeah.
got another social media post though that we delivered to the city over the break, and that'll get scheduled. Um,
Hmm.
and so we talked about maybe one about the survey. And it seems to me that that community camera program might be an interesting social post as well.
Agreed.
Make
agreed.
sure when you talk about that, that it's clear that it's voluntary. Or if you sign up, you can unsign up at any point.
I agree, Barb. That was the way that the city described the program in that newsletter. I felt really comfortable about it. It did seem entirely voluntary, and it's not like you're saying here, you have full ability to see any footage at any time. It's really specifically related to an investigation.
Well, and it wouldn't stop the police from, if there's an incident by a house that they're standing on the street and they're looking and they're going, gee, that house has a camera. I wonder if we could ask them, even if they're not signed up. So I think it's just kind of an awareness thing. It's a good thing.
It's all the time.
But if they are registered, we'll start with their house. Well, we
Right.
know you volunteered, and we're coming right to your house to see if you have any video footage.
I don't have a system like that, so I don't know exactly how they work. How long does footage generally get retained when you have a
That
rig or-
depends. Every system varies, and it depends on what the owner sets the retention schedule for. Like my own footage, I can set mine for 7 days all the way up to 90. So I can,
Depends on what.
it depends on what you pay for and what you have.
Okay.
There's tons of settings and tons of dollar amounts.
This
Can
is-
I,
Oh, sorry, go on.
I was gonna switch gears a little bit. So
Okay.
finish with this.
Well, I was just wondering, has anybody heard, are there municipalities that, this is such a weird random thought. I just wondered if there were grant programs that help people like to afford those kind of things. I don't think we're a neighborhood where most families, if they want to get, a security system, they're able to, but I don't know that that's true for everyone. And so,
I've never heard of a grant program for a private security system on your house.
yeah.
Hmm.
I was just curious, random thought. Okay, Barb, you can take us in another direction.
Another direction. I wanted to go back to an email from a long time ago, Greg, that you sent about a trivia pursuit, I think,
A trivia night?
a trivia night.
Yes,
For the police or
yes,
something.
for Police Officer Association.
Right, and I didn't see that on the agenda, or if I missed some discussion, but. I was like, after the email went out, I said, well, I'm in, but didn't know how to, or any of the logistics of that. Can you tell us more about it, or did it happen already?
Nope, it has not happened yet. And we didn't hear any feedback from it, so I didn't push any more issues out on that. But it is coming on Saturday, March 23rd, and if you still would like to engage in it, the event will be held that night, but we were looking for any type of non-for-profit organization locally that we could donate some of the profits to. And I believe we ended up the Rotary. We chose the Rotary, and we're going to be giving scholarship funds out. We're going to be giving some of the funds out to scholarships through the Rotary is what we ended up choosing for that. So,
It's great.
Is there any participation that we can still?
yeah, absolutely. I can reach out to the association board, and if you guys would like, you can help volunteer or do whatever you would like to do, and maybe get a table together or something like that, or whatever. Just let me know, and I'll gladly coordinate through our board from the association for that, because it's going to be held right here at the Mason's Lodge, right next door. So it'll be on the night of the 23rd of March 23rd.
Greg, you probably have some deadlines for like registering for tables and things like that. If we look
Yes.
for that, will we find it on your website or where would we find it?
I can look it up right now and send an
Okay.
email with it. Let me see if I can find it. Give me a few seconds.
Okay, well, while you're looking for that, I'm gonna scroll down the list of our agenda. We don't have anything, at least I don't have anything on in the news. My only thing was I read about that camera program and I thought it was great. But if anyone else has come with some news that they want to share, now's your time.
Yeah, I have several. Well, I'll tell you what, we've got to change these tables out. I hit my knee every time I slide up.
Yeah.
Let me share this, and I did find some stuff on the trivia night for you, but let me share this. So, Chief Curtis sent me an email. He is enjoying his retirement in Florida, but he did send me this. So I wanted to read this out to you guys, and please share it with the members who are not here tonight. And he sent me, Chief Perks. I received a very generous retirement gift from the Police Community Engagement Board after I had already departed from the state for the holidays and remain out of town. Unfortunately, I no longer have access to individual email addresses and cannot thank each board member personally. Would you please convey to them my sincere thanks and appreciation for their thoughtfulness and generosity? Also, please relate my apology for not being able to do so personally. I wish them and you continued success in the important work being done for the community and will genuinely miss being a part of that. Thanks for passing this on. Chief Curtis, retired.
How
So-
much did we give him?
It was 140, Barb.
Oh, awesome.
Yep. It was really fun. There was like a lot of gift certificates because I think they're $20 a piece. So he had a stack of them. It was like Monopoly money. And apparently he really loved the card. The customer support representative at the front was there when it was presented to him. And it was, he really liked the humor of it and about retiring the 9th hole. Yeah. So
Great.
anyway, that felt good. I'm glad he enjoyed it.
All right, and I got information on the trivia night. And Emerson, your camera is on.
Yeah, we
Yes.
see it now.
I was on a different Zoom, Microsoft Teams. They still have me on.
Oh, your camera was on, okay.
So once I dug down deep enough, I found it.
Good deal, good deal. All right, so here's the charity. So we're partnering with the Rotary Club of Webster Groves, and the donation provided from the Webster Groves Police Officers Association will go to fund scholarships for advanced learning to local students. Our plan is to award 5 $2,000 scholarships to graduating seniors who exhibit a propensity for community service who may have financial challenges. We'll be announcing more details and begin registration for the trivia night in the next few days, which we've started. It's March 23rd. So we're going to give out about $10,000 in scholarships based off with the Rotary's help for that night, which is awesome. And the trivia night is Saturday, March 23rd, which I'll send this out an email. Going through my phone is tricky, so I'll do this tomorrow. It'll be held at the Masonic Temple at 12 East Lockwood. It's $240 per table of 8. And it'll be emceed by Julie Tristan from 102.5 KUZK. And she's also on Y98, and it is sponsored by Bio1, which is our founding sponsor, which Bio1 is a business that was founded by a former Webster Groves police officer and a Creve Coeur police. Creve Coeur. Creve Coeur.
Maryland Heights.
Creve Coeur. We're going to disagree on that. And all the proceeds are going to go to Rotary Charities and the Webster Groves Police Officer Association. And it does not have a closing date, Lexi, right now.
Okay.
No
Well,
closing
obviously we
date.
got a little bit more time.
Yep.
but, all right, so maybe what we'll do is confer via email if there are people that are interested. Do you know, is anybody, can they say now at this time, are you interested in doing a PCEB table? Is this kind of like a fun activity? Any initial thoughts?
I don't have a strong preference one or the other. What I initially think though is, this isn't necessarily our audience. These are
right?
when we think of what we're trying to do for PC, but I don't think that means a hard no by any means.
Yeah.
I don't understand that, Jill. What do you mean they're not our audience?
Well, the purpose of the PCB is to, what does it say in our ordinance? Engage with the community, dismantle historical, I'm gonna get the phrasing wrong.
Yeah.
Barriers, or dismantle barriers, as it relates to racial equity. So I think, we're trying to engage with maybe folks that are distrusting of police and maybe don't have positive relationships, more so than the opposite.
So at this event, we're not going to get those that don't like the police.
Yeah, I guess that's an assumption on my part.
I mean, that I'm
Being-
just,
being host. Yeah,
yeah, I'm putting it in different words, but
yeah,
I think it's fair to say that attending this event is not central to the mission, the PCEB. To me, it would be more of a social occasion if members were interested in getting together outside of our regular meetings and probably also meeting some more police officers. Do a lot of them actually attend the event, Captain Perks?
A lot of our officers,
Yeah,
I would assume they would, yes. I mean, these types of events, trivia nights and mouse races and those kinds of general events that we hold are heavily attended by families and officers and that kind of thing regularly. So yes, I would say that officers and their families and friends of those people and the neighborhood friends and that kind of things that we have would be at these types of events.
yeah, no, that's definitely fair to build our own relationships with our
Yeah.
police officers. Mhm.
it would be a good opportunity. Would we have to come up, those who are interested, would we have to come up with the $240 for a table? I presume
so,
the answer is yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
yeah.
It's not like it's being donated to us because we're the PCEB.
No, it'd be an individual purchase, whoever would.
Okay.
Like I'm buying a table myself and then, my mother and father will be there
Right,
and,
no, I
you know, that
understand.
kind of
Kinda
thing,
like
and
an
then-
auction.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm realizing I'm conflating table. Like when Lexi said table, I thought, what we talked about for other events, like we had a table for
Oh,
information space,
yes.
not
Oh,
like a
no.
participating
Oh,
table.
No, I
No,
meant like a
I'm clear now.
table
I'm
to
clear now.
play the
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I totally understand where you were coming from.
Yeah, that's where my head was at. Was like if we needed to be there from an informational
For an
perspective.
information
Yeah.
table. Yeah.
That's where I was like, hey, I'm all in, but no, to come up with
Yeah.
for whatever it is. Yeah, I think I'd probably temper my enthusiasm.
And 7 other people.
Well, we
Some
can,
of us, right.
if people are interested, we'll figure out how to find out who might be and if enough folks want to pitch in to do it. Captain Parks, if other people are like, hey, we got half a table. Is there any kind of horse trading like that going around?
Yeah, I can find that out because there's always open tables, where, people are there, they're like, hey, I'm gonna be there with 2 people. And so they just
Yeah.
buy 2 tickets and then there's always that
Okay.
hotspot. And if I can always find out as well that if you want to volunteer to help, there's always that kind of thing as well, because there will be members of the association that are just there to help, that are there, just there to do cleanup, setup, that kind of thing, because there's always that as well. So there is that option if you would like to do that too. Because that could be part of that community thing, helping, as well.
Yeah.
That we're doing that, so.
Awesome. Well, if you'll send along that information, I'm gonna think about like what's the easy way that we can sort of assess who's interested in what kind of participation in that.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's great. Thanks for sharing that opportunity. And Barb for remembering it, because I kind of blanked out. It's been a while since we met.
It's been several months, yes.
Yeah,
Holidays, New Year, and woof.
all right. So the next thing I have on our list is bringing up again these listening sessions. And I know that we had agreed to wait until the new chief is in place. I know initially Dr. Peoples had hoped that that was going to be, in the spring. So it was going to be a pretty rapid turn for that selection. I personally have a bias towards, can we try to get this in before the end of the school year? Because it's really
Mm.
seeming like it's dragged out for a long time. We've talked about different audiences that we want to reach. And I felt like that's the one area that we all agreed, oh yeah, let's do that. Let's target in, like, how can we reach some specific groups? So I listed Webster University students and possibly also faculty and staff. John Buck isn't here today. He of course represents Webster U, but Scott, you did some listening sessions, informally over a year ago now. And how did you set that up? What was there a particular group that you reached out to, or?
Well, it was back when Jenny Starkey was over with Webster U. So I connected with her and several faculty members there that were interested in related topics in the criminal justice and what have you. I discussed with them over the phone ahead of time. Then I also reached out to some of the contacts I had, Vince Wallen over at with Webster U in kind of a public relations role, and he helped me set it up. So that's how it started. So initially through the faculty, who then promoted it to students directly and set up a date and time. And then we joined in via, at that time it was via Zoom, because I think it was in the early COVID times by the
Yeah.
time it all happened. So, I can definitely, well, I think John's a amazing resource that I did not have at that time. So we can ask his opinion, and I can ask Vince and a few other people I know over that way if you would like. See if we can redo that so you can experience that. I think there was a lot of great sharing of stories and good listening. The whole point of the endeavor is to sit back, listen to different perspectives, and not be there to defend actions, just to listen and then take it back to this group. So, but now Jennifer Starkey probably could point us in direction of who took over her position. She was very integral for getting this going as well.
I'm happy to reach out to Jen and ask, who her contacts are still at Webster U. I know John Buck is very interested in pursuing this, so I'm sure he'll just kind of take that on. So what I was thinking by listening the audiences is maybe we could sort of assign a captain of who's going to do that. So with John not being here today, I want to nominate him for Webster University.
Sure.
I think he'll accept.
Yeah, well done.
Then we have the Webster Grove School students, parents, and teachers. And I think we need to be cognizant that it's not just our public schools, because we have several parochial schools in our area with a lot of students. I have no idea how to reach them. I know that PTOs are an active organization. You're going to get parents that way. Do we have someone present here today that feels like, hey, I've got a connection here? And I do not want to dump all this on Sloan. I want to ask her some questions about how we might reach high school students, but I think this is a much it's a broader audience as well.
Yeah.
Isn't our lawyer friend at a high school event right now?
So let's nominate someone else who's not in the room.
So
Certainly ask him.
Yeah.
I've been participating in the Webster Grove School District Communications Advisory Board.
Oh,
So I now know the head of communications, so and that feels like a very appropriate place to start. And yeah, so I would be happy to start those conversations with Derek, I believe his name is. What is
okay.
it? Derek Duncan, I believe, is
I know
is the head
him
of-
also from
Perfect.
marketing. So yeah, that could
Okay.
be good.
So I got his name right. Okay, perfect. Yeah, Derek Duncan. And he's got a few on his team that join those meetings as well. Like, so I know he's got a team, which is great. They probably might be able to help us a little bit.
What schools does he represent? Is that parochial?
No, that is just Webster Grove School District.
Okay, so how do we get to the parochial?
Who do
Yeah,
we
that'll have to be another-
connections? Yeah, Mary
Yeah.
Queen of Peace. We've got Narings. We've got, I don't know the name of the other school that's right across the street from that.
Yeah.
It's a grade school.
When I reach out to Derek, I could just ask if they like connect with those schools, from a like peer best practice learning, sharing perspective. Just that, see if that's maybe one way to make this a more holistic listening sessions across all the schools. Could just see what he says, and then if not, we may have to just explore another route there. We could always just, if we don't have any personal connections, just kind of like cold call, cold emails, some
Yeah.
folks at the school.
I think that would be an easy enough thing to do.
Yeah.
Now, in that same vein, why are we're doing Webster University? What's wrong with Eden?
Oh, there's nothing wrong with Eden,
Yeah.
Barb. I think it's been
No,
absolutely-
I'm not saying there is, but I mean, if
Yeah.
we're gonna do Webster University, why not
Yeah.
Eden Theological Seminary?
Uh,
Whatever they're called now.
I know the president. Ha ha.
Look at that.
Okay, there you go.
So that's me. I'm signing up to contact.
Because I think that would broaden the perspective again.
Absolutely.
We're all just kind of like these public schools and parochial and private, we gotta get them engaged. A lot of people over there.
Yep. All right, so I took John Sauter off of Webster Grove School Districts because the next thing on my list said business owners and employers. And doesn't he own a boutique in Webster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got to have maybe a presence at the chamber or something.
Yeah. All right. And then I just had a final list of like, who are we missing with this list? I mean, another way to reach people is through churches. And so maybe we could contact some of the local churches and ask if, at least they would list something in their bulletin, or maybe, if there's enough interest, maybe do one like actually there at the church. We've got a lot of churches in Webster Groves. I'm not sure that I want to do a dozen listening. Maybe there's not quite a dozen, but there's a lot. I don't know that I want to do that many, but that might be an option. Are there
Yeah, and
other-
we could always, maybe we target our school student audience before school's out in May, and
Yes,
see how it goes, kind of like a pilot first phase, and then summer, fall for maybe some of those other audiences, where that timing doesn't have as much of an impact.
right. Yeah, the business owners, the churches, there's not really that seasonality.
Right.
Worry
And then we
about.
can take some learnings from the first few and apply those and see what worked with them. and we're technically only on the hook for one a year, right? But yeah, I think I do like the approach of, targeting some of these.
Yeah. Okay, I have taken some notes and I'll share them around. And we'll verify that the people we've nominated for some of these different areas are okay with it. So what I'm hoping is that for these different areas over the next several weeks, those individuals can articulate and firm up some thoughts about exactly how we would do that and what would be a good time frame. And also, if there isn't an obvious location, I think most of these we're talking about places that have a facility and likely would have a
He's on the
room
board.
available. A school would have a cafeteria.
Talk them.
So,
Lexi, there's a group of it's Churches Together for
yes,
Justice. That's
Churches-
representing, I think maybe about a half a dozen churches. I think that'll be a good place to start for your churches.
churches
He
together
can hear how.
united for justice. Yeah, or something like, can't remember that.
That's his last
acronym.
name?
I would call Clark Hodeling.
Yes,
So I should promote him to attendee, right?
He's probably just listening from the event he had to go to.
Okay.
Who raised his hand?
He had his hand raised before.
It's not.
Hey, Lexi, did we talk about the seniors? I presume seniors on your list meant seniors.
yes, I listed youth to seniors and I wondered, how do we reach the seniors? So,
Well, there's as many senior citizen homes around. Close, and I'm not sure they're part of Webster or not, but like some of the Bethesdas, some of them down on Lockwood. I don't know, there's. I'm not sure. Of their location making them eligible or not, but I think we do have a lot, or not even senior citizen centers, but just there's apartments for seniors that you have more seniors in than you do, people raising their families.
yeah. Yeah, and in fact, I think, they're even trying to get more built, I think.
Yes.
For senior, so, Barb, I don't have your name next to anything yet. Do you want to come up with a list?
Are you
of-
calling me a senior?
No, I'm saying that asked about the seniors. But I think I also qualify as a senior, but I've already volunteered. I'm going to contact Eden Seminary and I'll also contact Clark Hodeling about the Churches Together. That way we'll get a bunch of them.
Sure, I mean, if I can figure out which of these centers are part of Webster, right? Isn't that the criteria?
Yep.
Which ones are in Webster? There should be a list somewhere.
Yeah, I would think that any of them that are within our city limits would be.
Part of Webster, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's this little place down on Marshall. Senior Home Services, I think is the name of it. And, just a call to them, they say, can you give me a list of the centers that you work in or that are in Webster? So, okay.
Okay, that sounds great.
I wouldn't bother with, when you said youth to seniors, youth, you're gonna hit with the schools.
I think we will mostly. The youth that I was thinking we're missing are these, young people who are maybe still living at home and attending college. And maybe they're here locally going to UMSL, Lindenwood, who knows, Wash U. And there's still residents here. And we wouldn't be capturing them through these groups. And so those were the youth that I was thinking of as our young adults. Maybe we can just kind of think in the background about how do we reach them? And Sloan, maybe you'll have some thoughts.
Yeah, I was thinking, well, I know we talked about maybe doing like a government class or something could be an interesting like way to get a small group of high school students, just because I don't know how much luck you'll have if it's just like an open thing where kids can volunteer to come.
Yeah.
But also at the Chelsea Center, there's a real world problem solving class that I know has guest speakers a lot. So I feel like that could also be like a cool group of kids that's definitely like involved in being active in the community. So those are some ideas, but I'll think about it more too.
That's great. Those sound like really good ideas for reaching the students. All right. I feel like we've made some progress there. So next meeting, if your name is next to something, Scott, if you have any notes from when you did the listening session, like were there any particular prompts or what did you share? What seemed particularly effective in getting people to share, just the structure? Because I know you've described it as really a good experience for you and learning a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll look through and see if I can find that. It's been a couple years back.
All right. Okay, so that was really all I wanted to accomplish with the listening sessions discussion. And in February, when we meet again, we'll have firmed up enough that maybe we can actually specify what dates that we want to try and target. And also one of the thoughts that Jill had is, how are we going to capture the feedback that we receive? And so we're going to see, like, are there some tech tools that could help us? I'm not sure. Or, is there a form that we want to have on an iPad that we could, like, as we fill things? Or I just got a new gadget I'm learning how to use with my Apple Pencil. And as I take notes, it records what I'm hearing. So when I hit on that part of the notes, it'll play back what I was listening to. So really cool, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, because I get tired of transcribing 10 pages of notes every day and putting it into all these places. This tool will convert it into text. I thought, wow, that might be a good way to record listening sessions. So
Yeah.
Well, and I do think that a listening session, it gives me a picture of 2 ears. So I'm listening twice as much as I'm talking, right? We've all heard that. So if I'm writing, let's listen. Can we
Yeah.
not assimilate right after it, what we have heard, summarize it, and write it down, pencil and paper? I don't think we need tech tools.
yeah, no, that's what I was thinking, is the writing down, I think is helpful. So we'll
Yeah.
talk about that more in February. And Barb, I know you've taught, done some adult education stuff too, so you can share some ideas with that. All right. My last item, I think we've already talked a little bit about. I said topics for future FAQs and social media posts. And we said we could do one about the police chief survey, what we're looking for, and the community camera program. And that, y'all, is the end of the agenda. Do we have anything else that needs to be brought up? Anything, Emerson, to share from the council?
Yes, I do have a few things, Lexi. I like to be other liaison to other commissions and boards. I just want to let you know that there will be 10 different amendments on the April ballot from the charter that we're recommending to be approved. That's including a new preamble for the city. We also just reviewed this on this past meeting, budget review for this year. We're on target for spending no more than we bring in. So, and making different operational changes to save. And all commissions and commission members is asked to complete the survey on the color of the roof of City Hall. This is your opportunity, just if you want to see a purple roof, to get your vote in and see what you want. But we're asking, we're putting that in the hands of the commissions and its members. We already talked about the police chief recruitment survey. We asked you to go out and complete that as well. We're starting our community education on Prop W, a 22.1 million bond issue, no tax increase bond issue for Parks and Recreation. So we're getting ready to start moving in that direction. And I think that's about all the updates I have from City Hall.
Emerson, a quick question. The Parks and Rec, the bond issue, is that related to the survey that was distributed? And we were saying like what things? No, that was that other grant that we applied for and got.
There was a survey asking for your opinion on different items, yes. But those items have not been, no final decision yet on what we're going to use at 22.1 million. One of the things I like is that we will receive, oh shoot, I can't think of the name, Greenway. And we're going to get that property once they finish with it. And we're thinking about putting a park for handicapped kids. So that's what I'm going to push for at least. I like that idea, and to make some of our regular park equipment to be handicap accessible. But once it's passed, then we're going to start really making a decision what we're going to spend it. All of it, the entire bond issue has to be towards park and recreation. It can't be for any other type of expense that the city might have.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we'll be upgrading almost all of our parks that we have. And so that's the good thing. Any other questions?
How many parks do we have, Emerson?
I lost count. I ran into a park about 2 weeks ago. I didn't even know it was there. So it's quite a few. I don't know the total number.
Can I get that information? Can you find out where I can get that information from, please?
You should be able to get off the website.
What website?
The Rose website.
Looking for it right now, Barb. I'm sure it's in here. Look it
Well,
up.
you don't have to dig, Lexi. That's all right. If it's there, I'll find it.
Yeah. And if not, if you can't find it, then just give Scott over at the rec center a call. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to get it to you.
Yep, it's right there. If you go to departments and you can see Parks and Recreation, and it will take you there. I can tell you we have 120 plus acres of green spaces.
20, it says 20 parks.
20 parks.
20? Yeah. All right. Scott, did you have something that you were gonna say?
Not in particular, no.
Okay,
I mean,
I thought you'd
I
start.
think no.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Well, since Emerson's done, are we all ready to go home now?
Yeah.
Well, I think 2 of them are at least.
Yeah, I think we should adjourn the move. I move we adjourn.
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Bye.
Have a good evening.
Have a good evening,
Thank you all.
everybody.
Happy New Year.
Bye.